Oh shit, baby. Welcome back to another N85 podcast. We are here back again. Another Monday with the crew. It is Young Daddy Destiny and your boy AZ, aka Daddy Z, aka Mr. Himothy.
Mr. Himothy and
Hermitha. And today's special guest, we got Jenny from the North.
Hi.
The young Honduran queen.
Yo, too.
All right, lads. It's Anthony. The next day. I know what you're thinking. What the hell is this? Okay, well, the first 5 minutes of this video got cut out because we had some audio difficulties and shit. Like, the audio was weird. But there's no issues with the rest of the podcast, so it's all completely good and all that. And I'm going to take this time right now while I'm here to say subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you listen to the rest of the podcast. It's really, really good. I love this episode, bro. And I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy. The first time I turned up with you, actually, you ended up getting carried out. It was at Perreo.
Chill.
That was
I don't remember a lot of that fucking night. Like, I remember, like, me and Austin were sharing, like, a blue motherfucker at one point on the dance floor. Next thing I know, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I
the
get
teleport.
here?
When you're blacking out, the teleport. I call it the teleportation. You're in the moment, and then you kind of like blank out, and then you like kind of like come to like at another moment. Like, oh, what?
Yeah, that
I'm
night
in a
was
bed
like
right now.
really. I guess it was like the first time like me and her were really like getting associated with the group.
Yeah.
And when we walked in, since it was like Team Rebelde, me, her, and shout out Carla were all dressed up for the event. We come into the door,
and none of us.
All of y'all are like looking at us, and we're over here like dressed up. We're like, y'all not fucking with the theme. And y'all were just like, y'all are fucking with the theme, and we're like,
no, I
were
don't think
thrifting last minute and shit for
dude,
everything. I borrowed a tie and everything. I was like,
we all bought ties.
I lost that shit, bro.
No, hey, shout out to you guys. We're like that too. Like, we actually liked being involved in shit. The thing is, we didn't know that people were actually gonna do that. You know, and when we got there, we figured out like, oh, people actually do it. Because you don't ever want to be that guy, right? Whenever there's something like you wear costumes or you have to do something to prepare, you don't want to be that guy that's like pulls up and you're kind of the only, like, you're the minority. You know what I'm saying?
You scared of being that bitch?
Yes,
Is that what I'm hearing?
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. When I was in elementary school, bro, there was this one time where they told us to bring our costumes, right? And I've always had that anxiety. This has to do with the anxiety, bro. I had that anxiety of like, all right, I don't want to be the only one because then I'm gonna get made fun of or whatever, right? And then so I was like, okay, cool. I think it was like a week, like it was like Friday before Halloween, something like that. And then I could have sworn they were like, bring your costumes in, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm over here dressed as Sub-Zero from fucking Mortal Kombat, right?
Let's go.
I'm all fucking decked out, ninja the fuck out right now. Heading to the bus stop, right? I lived in an apartment, so there's a lot of other kids. On my way there, I see 4 kids not dressed up. And then I just like, my heart like sank. My heart like, it dropped, right? Yeah, that drop feeling like, oh, what? So was it like, did I get the memo wrong? Like, are we not bringing costumes? So I ran home and I changed real quick, bro. And then I got to the bus stop, and then it turns out like there was a lot of people that were actually dressed up. So when I got to school, everybody was dressed up and shit. And I'm over here with my plain old clothes. I'm like, bruh,
those 4 kids are your fucking villain.
I didn't get to eat, bro. I was about to serve with this Sub-Zero ass fucking look, bro. And I didn't get to.
It's
my
just
anxiety.
like different when you're older, I guess, because like in school, like you can't change, you know what I mean? But like when you're like older, you'll be like, this is just my style. I just be cosplaying. I'm that girl and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a way to get around it when you're older versus I feel like when you're younger, you don't have style.
When you're older, I feel like nobody like
gives a fuck.
I was just gonna say like nobody is like gonna judge you for being a part of it, being creative and shit. You know, it's like a costume party. Nobody's gonna judge you like, oh, look at him, he brought his costume. He did the theme. No.
He put effort.
Yeah, like, oh.
Wait, no, y'all have never had to do that shit? Like hide like how you dress and stuff from like family or like your friends or some shit?
Guy, hell nah.
Damn, my bad.
I think that's a girl thing though, or a religious thing, right?
Yeah, it's more of a religious a little bit of both for me actually, because like with my tattoos and stuff, like my stepdad still doesn't know I have 5 tattoos.
That's wild.
He thinks I only have like 2, and he thinks it's just the ones on my hips. Like he hasn't seen the other ones.
No god.
So it's like, I don't know. I've always had to do it, even like in high school. If I wanted to wear like my crop tops and shit like that, like I always had to cover up.
You wear like a sweater to school, and then
like
when
I wear a layered, yeah,
free.
And then everybody looks at them, and then you're like going back in.
Actually, yeah, it'd always be like a layered jacket or some shit that I could either like take off and leave like my jean jacket on, or like zip off kind of shit.
Nah, yeah, I've never had to do that. I mean, I've had to hide like my wild in ways from my parents and all that, like drinking and smoking and shit, but never like how I dressed.
I was talking to her about that. I was just like, because, the whole, we've talked about it before, like, oh, being religious, then going out, blossoming, doing whatever you want to do. And she's like the same way. I actually, because I was getting to be her friend and I want to hang out with her, she used to go to church. I used to go to church with her. Not that I was like, I believed in it or anything. Sorry.
Dude, we gotta say we're gonna say the dad, remember the scenario we made?
I'm getting blessed. So basically,
set the scene.
So basically, her religion is Pentecostal, and you guys believe in like Jehovah's Witness? Are you witnessing Jehovah?
No.
I always get it mixed up.
We got nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. They're Catholic, I believe.
Yeah.
Pentecostal is kind of weird. They're like a branch of Christianity. Yo, don't let my mom hear me say this shit.
Bro. Nobody sent the link to her. That's one of my biggest fears that my dad.
If any of my cousins or some shit are hearing this, bro, don't tell my mama said that shit. Dude, mind your business right now.
Naomi's mom texted me actually. She was like, "Oh, I just listened to a podcast. It was really great." And I turned like so red. I was like, "Fuck, she listened to it." Shout out to her, bro.
But
she subscribed to the channel.
The church is just kind of like, honestly, I'm gonna say they're kind of cultist. I won't lie to you, because like they believe in like fasting to like cleanse your body of certain shit and like certain sins. And I've actually been like part of that. Like I've like fasted for 3 days. So like you stay at the church, you're not like allowed your phone, you're up at 6 a.m.
Did you do that like willingly, or like that you kind of like, your family kind of like,
it was like a mix of both, because like with everything going on like my senior year, like emotionally I was just kind of out of it. So I was finding comfort in like whatever I could, and I was like, well, my mom finds comfort in the church, maybe I will too, kind of thing. That was not the case. That was not the case.
Yeah, that was crazy, because I was still friends with her at the time, and like an outsider, I didn't really go to church, and when I did, I never really understood it, because it was always be like some random verse, and we're gonna start today. It's like kind of like getting into class and be like, we're on chapter 13, and you're like, it's my first day in here. And they all dress very strictly. Women in long skirts, no ankles. That's too sexy.
And your skirts have to like flare at like the hip. You can't have like your skirt be like tight. Somewhat tight. No, like right under your bust, like where your belly button is, it has to immediately like flare. Like you can't have like any silhouette. And I actually got in trouble for that shit a lot, because like I'm big chested, but like nothing I wear will ever hide my chest, and they'll be like, you're dressing too like
you gotta dress like an umbrella, bro. Like that shit gotta be like this.
They're like, you're dressing too provocatively. And I'm like, I literally have on the same fucking uniform that all of the other girls do. Like, it's only an issue because I have a fucking chest. They look like fucking pieces of plywood. Like, what do you want me to do, bro?
And then all the men dressed in tuxedos. So it to me looking in, I was like, this is questionable, but I support her and stuff like that. So it would be, and the people there, I will say they were weird. They were just questionable. And
then she put this scenario that she was like, oh yeah, sometimes they bless them and then they start acting like wild, like saying like get very emotional and shit. They feel it, which is cool, right? And then I was like, yo, one day if they come to you, right, you just when they like put the all the energy of Christ on you, be like, damn.
I've actually had them like, because like sometimes like church people like visit our household to like pray for the family and shit.
I used to have that all the time.
And by pray for the family, I mean like pray for me and my younger siblings, because we stopped going. Like I stopped going and they all dipped. They were like, oh, if she can do it, we can stop going, kind of thing. And like my mom, my stepdad, my older brother, they were all like crying in prayer and shit. And I was just like, damn, like when's this over? Like I want to go back to my room, kind of thing. Like I was just staring at the floor. I was like trying to like make it seem like my eyes were closed. And one of the guys who's like friends with my brother like comes up to me, puts his hand on my head, and he's like praying for me and shit, trying to like make me cry. And I'm just like, damn, this motherfucker's hand is really sweaty for one. Ew. And I look over to the side because my little sister's next to me, and all I see is my little sister like covering her mouth, trying not to fucking laugh. And after she comes up to me, she was like, that man really thought he was gonna make you cry right now. Like that's not gonna happen. I don't know why he tried it.
That's one of the things that I did. I even personally got scared. I like slowly like I was like, hey, you could go and stuff like that, because it was just like they were just like cry. I went to the church one time when they were blessing everybody. The lady was like convulsing, and stuff like that.
What?
So you know, like those videos where they're like jumping and shit, and you're like, oh, that's not real. No, it's like actively like it's going on every weekend.
Wild to me, right?
And there was one point where I was like really avidly into the church, like even before I met her, and like I've been through that experience, and it is kind of weird to put into like words, because like there really is no like way to like word what you're going through when you go through that shit. But even like when like she was going with me, I was like, damn, like now that I look at it, that shit is kind of crazy. And because like if somebody's going through that, you're not supposed to look at them. Because the way that the church words it, you genuinely either gotta close your eye or look away, because like the way that
just like down the twiddle your thumb, it was like look very down upon to pull out your phone too.
You're over here tweeting like, damn, there's crazy shit going on in the room I'm at right now.
It smelled crazy here.
Mom, can you pick me up?
My mom was actually pissed because I used to do that. Like I used to get on my phone because like I was like locked in with like the pastor's like son and shit. So like the Wi-Fi password that like nobody was supposed to know.
You knew.
Like I knew it, bro.
You got the contraband.
So I was like on my phone, like whenever I wasn't into it, and my mom was like ya deja el teléfono, like do like pray or something. I'm just like, nah. If I get down to pray, I'm gonna fall asleep right now.
Dude, I remember like because I used to go to church too, bro. It was some wild times, dude. I remember one of the things that I did get from church was like I always see the kids there, the pastor's kids, and or like everybody there.
God.
They're the
my
baddest.
Pastors love child brides.
They were the baddest fucking kids ever, bro. Yes. Like the kids that went to church were better than the kids that I knew outside of church that never stepped foot in the church. I was like, yo, y'all motherfuckers doing drugs on church campus
without the blessing of God.
I got some receipts on my pastor's kid.
Dude, yeah, she's like obviously she's a really good friend and everything. She's like told me some of the achievement that like came from like the pastors, like, you know, like kids and shit. Like, these motherfuckers are wilding for real. I knew this. Not to say that everybody's like that, but like the whole stigma, I guess it really is like.
But it happens.
Constraint, and we've been through this before. Even with strict parents, you're so constrained. You just want to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You create an animal.
Yeah, I remember I knew this one shawty that went to church and shit, and then she was always the very like judgmental shawty. Like if you did something like. If you, I guess, kind of were open about shit that you did outside of church, like, oh, yeah, I smoked my first cigarette the other day. She would judge the fuck out of you.
They go feral over that shit.
She'll be like, dude, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's such bad. Like, why are you, like, doing that? And then guess what? Now, after she went to church, like, a couple years later, 5 years later, she started going to church. Then she got wild and started doing drugs. Like, bro, she did it all. I'm like,
one of the church girlies ran away with like a guy from church as well. Came back like a month later, and actually, come to find out, she like fell in love recently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was like, bro, there's no space for Jesus when you're outside the church.
And like this was one of the girls that my mom was like, see, you should be more like her. And I'm just like, look at this. I was like, because now she's in love. I was like, and I am not. I was like I may not be like the perfect kid that like my parents wanted. I was like, but I am like one of the least problematic kids of our entire family.
Did you get like compared a lot to other people like growing up and shit? Because I got that a lot, bro. Like I'm the older brother. I'm the oldest one out of my siblings, but I also had like cousins, uncles, and shit like that. And my parents would always come up to me. They'd be like, oh, look at him over there. He's doing so good. He's going to school every day. He has great grades. Like everything that you don't have. They'll like shit on you for what you don't have, but they don't like compliment you for what you do have. That's always so counterintuitive.
I've argued with my stepdad about this like continuously because like my senior year, like he wasn't there. Like some shit happened. Obviously, like he wasn't there for a good like 2 to 3 years. And like now that he's back and like I'll go out to like car shows and car meets with my brother and he'll be like, hey, like you're not supposed to be doing that. Like you're not being a proper woman doing that. Crazy. And I turned around and like I'll argue, bro. I don't care. Like, I will argue.
I do the same thing.
I will argue. And I told him, I was like, okay, well, you also weren't being a proper husband for those 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I was like, so I'm following the example that you set for me. I was like, and even without you, I was like, I had a really good, stable career. I was like, I left it for my own personal reasons. I was like, my car, I was like, I did that shit for me. I was like, my school, I pay that shit for me. I was like, everything that I have, like, I got that shit on my own. So if you don't think I'm a proper woman, that's on you and on the example that you have set for me. He didn't like that shit.
Facts. Damn, no listen, talk your fucking shit.
No
left no fucking crumbs, baby.
And even now, like, my brother, like, one of my younger brothers is in, like, high school, and he'll, like, try and, like, pull him and, like, be like, hey, like, we should go to work. You can miss this and this. Like, school's not that important. And I'm like, so how are you going to tell me I'm not being a proper woman, but you're pulling your son out of school and, like, depriving him of the shit that you and my mom deprived me of my senior year because y'all couldn't get your marriage together? I was like, don't do that shit. I was like, he deserves to live his shit out better than I did because I'm helping you guys with shit that I shouldn't even be helping you with.
Right. That's one of the, I guess, tough parts. I mean, on his side, right? I guess that's one of the tough parts about being, like, I guess, parent. That's one of the things we talked about with Naomi is, like, I guess in his eyes, right? In his eyes, he thinks he's doing, like, the best thing for you and shit like that. But it's tough because, like, everybody's their own human being. Like, you have your own life to fucking live in, and you know, he just doesn't understand that.
But
shit.
I also think it's like, it's also pretty weird because I mean, this is another topic we're going to step into. But like, you know, she's the second oldest, but she's the first girl. So, and a lot of.
That changes everything, right? When you're a shawty compared to the dude.
A lot of her, like, immigrant families. And I was in a room where at least 4 girls were, like, the first girl, all pissed that they had to, like, basically become the second mom of the whole family. And just pissed. Because they lost out so much on their life. Honestly, and she can attest a lot to that.
I blanked out a lot of my senior year because, like, my mom hit, like, a really bad depression where she was with, like, my stepdad that year.
Right.
And I was in charge of my younger siblings. Like, after school, like, I would go home. I would get my mom's car. Or I would have, like, the guy that I was with at the time, like, help me, like, take my siblings to, like, soccer practice and things like that. And, like, even, like, after graduation, like, I didn't go straight into college because I took a full year off to stay at home and babysit my siblings. And then, like, once my mom got home, like, sometimes I would go into work so that we could kind of, like, make ends meet.
Right.
So I was like, you know, like, I didn't really get that, like, oh, like, fresh out of high school, let's go out clubbing, let's go out drinking kind of experience. For sure. So now, like, now that I'm starting, like, hang out with y'all and shit.
Now we're bringing her to the dark side, bro.
I mean, my stepdad doesn't like it. He'll be like, when are you coming home? Like, even yesterday, like, when I left, he was like, what time are you coming home?
And I feel like, I mean, a lot of people go through the same thing that you go through, and especially, like, females and shit.
Yeah.
Like, we had another girl that used to hang out with us that we did the exact same thing for. She had never gone out. She had never, like, drank alcohol before coming out with us. So we got
That's
to
why I told her, bro, I would dress up in my church dresses just to, like, go and lie to, like, her parents.
Oh, that's wild, bro.
I mean, it's just because me being the youngest and then her being the oldest.
Right.
And that's also been a lot of things with some of my other friends. It's just, like, the dynamic to me has always been so strange because, like, she really would drop anything for her siblings, you know, like, go for her siblings, do this. She just dropped them off at a friend's house. She even signs their schoolwork.
If my parents aren't home in the mornings for whatever reason, like, they'll barge into my room because, like, I don't leave to work till, like, 8:30, 8:40. Honestly, I could kind of show up whenever the fuck I want to, and the man doesn't care. That man doesn't care. But, like, they'll barge into my room and they're like, hey, can you sign this really quickly? Like, I forgot to get my mom to sign it. And I'm just like, sure. Like, do you need any money for it? Or anything? And, like, that kind of upsets my parents because they're like, why do they ask me for shit and not for them? And I was like, that's just a sign on y'all. Like, y'all were lacking responsibility, so they turned to, like, the next person. I was like, and that's on y'all for throwing so much on me when you shouldn't have.
Yeah, they really turned to her. I've hung out at our house, like, for a full day. They really just, like, come barge in a room, be like, hey, what are you doing? And, you know, she'll be on her phone on TikTok and then be like, okay, just checking up. And it'd be like all 3 of them just coming in to see what she's doing. To just make sure she's there.
I've been on a road trip, bro, and they'll call me and they'll be like, hey, how do we order a pizza from Pizza Hut? I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Just follow the steps on the website or call.
That's wild to me. I mean, it's crazy because, you know, speaking from someone who's the older sibling, we had to kind of, like, learn everything ourselves. Nobody was there to talk, like, how you teach them to order a fucking pizza. Nobody taught me how to order a fucking pizza. You know, I had to learn all that by myself. So, and one of the things I was literally talking to my brothers about yesterday was like a career and shit, right? Because I was like, oh, where I work, it's a great job and shit. So, and I was telling them, I was like, oh, you can get in once you turn 18. I was like, I understand you don't want to go to school after, you know, high school. So that's cool. Like, that's cool. There's no problem with that. I was like, as soon as you turn 18, you guys already have cars and shit, so that you're good there. So I'll put you in where I'm at now. You know, it took me
years to get there, bro.
To get to where I'm at now. So I'm like, oh, this is actually a good like career and shit like that. So they don't have to go through that like, oh, let's try this. Oh, this didn't work. Okay, try this. Oh, this didn't work. You know what I'm saying? I have to go
fail, through that. Nothing's gonna go right. I've seen a lot of like my siblings go through that, but they never really guided. They didn't guide me either. So I mean,
did they not guide you because they didn't like figure it out, or like?
I mean, that could be.
They're still trying, bro.
Yeah, they're still trying. Yeah.
That could be it, but I'm also not putting the pressure on them.
No,
like,
yeah, 100%.
I'm helpless. No, why didn't you show me this?
Yep.
But it was like, she's getting to that age also where, her siblings are turning 18, 16, and they're like, I want to drink.
I got my brother fucked up one weekend actually. He came into my room because I had one of my friends over and she was getting married, and he was like, "Damn, you here?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "What's wrong with her being here?" He was like, "She's getting married and it ain't to me." I was like, "Bruh, chill the fuck out." For one, he was like, and he was asking me. He was already like not walking straight. Like he was slurring his words a little bit. And he was like, "Hey, have you seen the keys to my bike?" Because he drives a motorcycle. I was like, "Why do you want the keys to the bike?" And he was like, "I'm going to go like cruise around I-85. I was like, "Go to these," because I call them go to these. I'm like, "Go to these. If you touch those keys to the bike," I was like, "I will tell Lavis, our older brother, that you're drunk as hell right now. Like, I don't give a fuck." I was like, "Touch those keys." I was like, "I will tell Lavis," because like I was like, I don't have the manpower to stop this kid from jumping on his bike. So he's like 3 times my fucking size.
Yeah, but she has to play that role like, I'll let him get fucked up, but he's not invincible either. Like, you need to know your limits, and she's been learning that road. Cause like when I lived, my siblings, they weren't like, "Hey, like I understand like your X, Y, and Z age. Let's drink this. Let's do this." You know, and my brother maybe like 1 or 2 times like, "Let's smoke," but after realizing like it wasn't for me, he just like left me in the dust and stuff like that. And I mean, same thing with my sister, but like I didn't really have that guidance. And then when I look at both of y'all, I'm like, oh, y'all actually care about your siblings?
Actually, my brother threw up that night.
Oh my God.
And he came back and he looked at me and he was like, "I threw up." I was like, "All right, clean it up." He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Clean it the fuck up." I was like, "Go to this. If I see this shit, I'm gonna throw up too." I was like, and I haven't drank enough to be throwing up like that.
This man was on the wall sweating after throwing up, and he was just like, "I can take another." This man was 14 shots deep. 16 shots deep.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "I can take another one. I can take another one." And I was like, "Are you sure? You're wobbling." And he burps, but it's the burp where everything came up. And he go, "Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second." And everything came out.
He bottled half. Like, he took half of the fucking
He's
bottle.
a hefty set dude.
I've been there.
It's
actually, I'm about to be there right now.
The Dubo or some shit is what it's called. It's cognac. He wanted to get fucked up for the first time on cognac. I was like, why would you do this shit to yourself, for one?
I mean, do you show your brothers kind of like the ins and outs of drinking?
I was just about to literally bring that up,
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm invincible.
So the thing is, like, I think it's so it's such a beautiful moment. When you first introduce your brothers to like drinking and shit, because like you know that they're such rookies, so you can like
you can watch their downfall.
Yeah, you can fuck with them a little bit. So I was like, so these motherfuckers think that they could drink and shit because they did it before me, right? They got a hold of some alcohol before I like supplied them with some.
Yeah.
So like they kind of knew, you know, what it was to get a little drunk or something like that, but they didn't know what it was to get fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And then so whenever I think it was one of the first times they actually like partied with us, it might have been like one of the parties that we threw like here or some shit like that. It might have been my birthday or something, and I was like, okay, bet. You're going to take shots at the same times that we take shots, at the same amount that we take shots. And you know what? We take shots like back to back, just quick and shit.
Y'all
like
be
that.
drinking that shit like water.
Like it's nothing, bro. Like it's nothing. And
I be running. I won't lie.
And so, I mean, the thing is, it's the thing about getting fucked up, right, is about quantity that you drink, but it's also about like time that you drink.
Yeah.
Frequency and quantity go hand in hand. It's like that. It's like a chart that goes like this.
The fuck around and find out chart.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yes, that's literally it. That's literally the one I'm talking about. And then so I think it was like after 4 or 5, like these motherfuckers were like, "Yo, I'm done. Like I can't, like, you know." And then I started to see like them having to like isolate themselves to like chill the fuck out and shit. I'm like, okay, see, now you're learning. So now in their head they're learning about the
how to handle
the concept of pacing yourself, you know? Because then they're like, okay, now I see that I got to pace myself out more. So they're kind of learning on the job and shit like that.
Damn, I'm a bad sibling. I just let them go full throttle. They can figure that shit out themselves.
The thing is, you can't really do that. You got to kind of help them pace themselves because they can get over the taste.
Yeah.
The taste ain't that bad. But they don't know how powerful these little fucking shots are.
Yeah.
Based on the quantity.
On the next morning, bro.
And they don't know that this has a delayed effect too. This kicks in after like 5 minutes. This shot is gonna hit me probably in like 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere around there, right? They're gonna drink it. Probably a minute there, they're like, this ain't even that bad. I could drink another one. They're gonna drink another one, and then now they're 2 shots deep. They're lagging. Both the shots are lagging behind. So in fucking 5 or 6 minutes, both of them are gonna hit them at the same time. So if they keep doing that 4, 5, 6, all those are gonna start beating the fuck out of them. Like,
dude, yeah. So when we were first hanging out, like when she started going out more, so this is like after I came back from college and all that stuff, I kept inviting her out. And so basically I had to teach her how to drink. She didn't know how to drink, and that was funny in and of itself.
I can't say no when I'm drunk.
Yeah, and
I learned that the first time one of the first times that we hung out together was at my boy
party,
Daniel's
bro,
party. Yeah. And I'm like, Jenny shot.
Bro, I could not say no to you. I was like, damn, I really haven't seen Anthony in a minute.
I should drink with him.
And
that's a bad idea, guys.
Nah, I was going through some shit too. Like we found out some like really heavy shit about my uncle. So like my mind was just like, fuck it, let's just drown it all out. Let's fucking drink it away. And then next thing I know, like I'm waking up at her house the next day and I'm like, damn, like I didn't go home. Like I didn't even text my mama that I'm not gonna go home.
Shit, right.
And it was at that time period where like my parents like obviously still didn't like me sleeping over at anybody's house. Like, nah, I don't give a fuck. I just be texting them like, damn, I'm not going home today, bro. See y'all tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that night was crazy because I've obviously had my fair share of messy happenings and like blacking out, throwing up, fucking laying on the ground like this, just being like absolutely obliterated and only having like hopefully someone watch over me by myself, you know what I mean? And I kept telling her, I'm just like, hey, when you feel everything, you need to like stop, you know, especially when you're wobbling, because it can be like that next one is either gonna fuck you over or it's gonna be like you're just keep teetering. And I go to the bathroom.
I was sitting, I didn't feel no wobble.
I go to the bathroom, I come back, and she wipes her mouth like this. I'm like, what the fuck did you do? She's like, I downed like 2 more shots.
Oh, shit.
And I'm just like, what the fuck did you get the shots from? She's like, Anthony. And I'm just like, and I looked at her, I'm like, you can say no. He's like, bitch, he's so convincing.
You are, bro.
He's a fucking lawyer.
Once I'm drunk, bro, and like your natural charisma, it came over. Like, I can't fucking say no. And I've had that issue. And I know that's what happened at Perro 404 as well.
Yeah.
Because like at one point, she left me alone. I don't know where the fuck she went, but she left me alone. And
everywhere.
all I see is you and Johnny turn around with like 2 different shots. And I was like, well, fuck it. We're already here.
Yeah.
And then it's an even worse slope, kind of like when you're going through it, whether it's like personal family reasons, whether your job shitty, had a shitty day, whether like you're just feeling sad. It's so easy to just not give a fuck. Like you don't eat, you don't hydrate, and you're just like, give me every fucking drink. I don't care if it's like tequila, some rum, then a Cayman, and then some vodka. Give me all of it, and you just slip down so hard.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's very important, bro, to like know your limits, you know, because some people. So like I was saying, right, by the time you feel it, right, it lags behind. So by the time you feel like, okay, I'm a little too drunk right now.
Yeah.
But you can probably still take another shot. Do not take that fucking shot.
Do not.
Because you probably still have another 1 or 2 shots lagging behind, waiting to get digested, and then you're gonna end up getting like super fucked up. So that's a lot of people's downfall. Yeah, exactly. That's why a lot of people don't know when they tip over. Is because they're already you can't like go back. You can't undo those shots that you just took.
It's too late. You're hugging a toilet, bro. Fighting for your life.
Yep. It's very unfortunate, dude. And I just like we talked about with Naomi. Whenever you start throwing up, whenever you start getting all messy and shit, it's so embarrassing, dude.
I think it's still safe when you're with people that you fuck with. So like when she got obliterated, it was with me.
Yeah.
And then so it was fine.
Thank you for that.
Nothing happened. when Naomi got obliterated, she was with you. You know, someone who's not gonna like, you know, mess with her or anything like that. You know, take photos, being like, "Oh, you look so dumb."
I used to do it. I used to do that at high school. I stopped after a while because I'm like, okay, this I probably shouldn't be doing.
I did see a couple of those videos. I feel so bad with hugging a tree.
The thing is, they're hilarious, right? Like they really are hilarious. I love them. But then they're like, okay, you got one of me, I'm coming after you. One day you will get this fucked up, and I'm gonna catch you lacking. So I'm like, okay, let me try the fuck out.
It's a competition at that rate,
It's funny when it's you. It's not funny when it's me. All right,
dude. When the room you lay down and you just want to chill, but the room keeps spinning.
When
and
you're trying
it just
to
never
sleep.
stops.
I kind of enjoy that feeling.
How dare you?
Nah, you crackhead, bro.
Criminal.
That's alcoholism right there.
It gives me the same rush that like roller coasters do.
Oh,
that's
horrible. Nah, bro, I can't. Like, there's some times where I want to sleep and shit. And you close your eyes and you're just going like this, bro. Like, have you gotten on when the fair comes? There's this like ride that like the gravity in there is weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like. I'm like, oh no, and you can't like stop it. There's nothing. There's no remedy to that. You just gotta gangster through it.
Y'all really don't like that feeling?
Dude, you're weird. That's an unpopular opinion, guys.
It sucks because, like, you know, have you ever seen like the person like throwing up, like maybe they're crying, the snot, they're like, help me. It's like you just gotta keep going through it till you see the light.
No, a lot of times you hear like, "Oh, yo, don't let me drink again, please. Don't let me do this again."
Do it.
I've had one of my friends do that at like a bonfire that she hosted.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that was crazy.
She was like in her laundry basket on the phone with somebody that she should not have been on the phone with.
She was, oh my god. She gets me from the fire and she's like, she doesn't want to leave your room. I'm like, what do you mean she doesn't want to leave my room? She's like, she's just sitting in your dirty laundry in the closet calling her ex. And as a girl, you're like, oh, not that one. God damn it. I literally had to go like fucking mother like that. I'm like, get the fuck up.
Phone.
Give me your fucking phone. We're
get
going outside.
I did that once when we were out drinking with like Shay and everybody else. Like I went to the bathroom alone for some reason, and I was sitting in there, and like I didn't realize I was thinking out loud, but I was like, damn, should I text my ex right now? All I heard was screams all over the fucking bathroom, going like, no, don't fucking text him, like fuck him. And I was like, damn, bro, it's just fuck that. I was like, damn, bro, he's just going through a rough time. I just want to see if he's good. But I was like, but y'all right. Let me go get another drink instead. Let me mind my business.
TikTok where the girl, she's taking the video. She's like this. She was like, looks like I'm gonna text my ex. Ever go in the bathroom? No!
Dude, we should do that. We gotta do that. Y'all gotta do that next time. We go to Moondogs. Be like, go in the stall.
Bro, there's so much going on in the Moondogs girls' bathroom, bro.
Be like, just be in the stall. Be like, guys, can somebody tell me, should I text my ex right now? Yes or no? You're like, fuck no.
Bro, you gonna get us jumped on the way back out of the bathroom.
We having like whole therapy session. I seen a girl, like there was 3.
It's a whole lounge in the girls' bathroom.
And they're like grabbing her by her shoulder. They're like, you're better than this. You need to be treated like a queen. And I'm like, I'm just trying to piss. Can you guys move? And they're like, wait.
That's what these motherfuckers were doing yesterday at I Love Bowling, actually. One of the girls goes in the bathroom, and you see like 4 girls standing right there in front of the...
Bro, just know it's a therapy session in there, bro.
Yeah, like, sometimes you gotta be a little mean and push past it. Be like, yo, I'm gonna piss myself. Move.
I'm like, these motherfuckers doing coke in there. What's going on over there? If this is the guys' bathroom, those guys are definitely doing coke. They're just talking
coke
about tea.
So prevalent.
They're talking about their ex, like texting their ex or some shit, bro.
Yeah. I mean, overall, in terms of like, it was just funny. We've had a lot of friends who've gone from like, girlies who have gone from church girl to
the wildin'.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, does it still like linger on you about like, I drink, I do what I want, I smoke?
I feel like it feels freeing, right? Like you just do whatever the fuck you want. Like I feel like you become who you want to be. You're not someone that you should be in other people's eyes. You know, it's like who I want to be. If I'm having fun and I'm happy, like this is me.
It's kind of like a hit or miss, because like a part of me is like, damn, am I doing this shit out of spite? Like, am I doing this like just rebelling because like I wasn't allowed to, and now that like I have the freedom to do it, like am I just doing it just for that? And like sometimes I'll be like, damn, like do I really want to be out here? Like we'll be out at Moondogs and shit, and I'm like, damn, do I really want to be here? Would I prefer like being like in bed or some shit? But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, like, fuck it. Like, I'm not I'm not doing anything like wrong per se. Like I'm not out here like snorting coke or some shit.
Not yet.
Shout out some people, bro.
Do you want to? Nah, but yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as you're, you know, smiling and you're laughing, and you know, if you find yourself doing that a lot throughout the night, then you're probably happy. Then you're probably like, it's something you do want to do.
And it's something that like my mom knows I drink. Like there's no like denying it. Like my stepdad, like I guess like he doesn't really, it doesn't like click in his head.
Yeah.
But like my mom obviously knows, and like my siblings know. They call it bowling whenever I go out, and it's just like a reoccurring. It's a reoccurring.
I'm a champion. I have a bowling league now because I go out so damn often, man. It's crazy.
It's a reoccurring like joke, and I'll be like, hey, like I'm going out, and my siblings will turn around and they'll be like, you're going bowling, and I'm like, maybe, like fucking mind your business right now.
A lot of bowling.
But it's kind of weird because like I refuse to show up at my household on like those nights where I'm like completely obliterated.
Oh yeah, you
like
can't,
I'll
bro.
go home like slightly tipsy, or like on my birthday, like when we went out last year for like my 22nd birthday and I got like laced with something. I did go home. Yeah. I did go home and like my siblings like immediately picked up on like some shit wasn't wrong. And like my brother immediately like he looked at me, he was like, did she drink too much? And like Destiny told him, and he was like, all right, like we'll like keep an eye out for like my mom or something, like if she comes to check up on her, because sometimes when I do go out and I come home, my mom will go into my room to make sure like I'm good, and like sometimes like she'll leave me like a bottle of pills and a water bottle just in case for like cruda and shit. But like they'll cover for me, and I'm just like, you know, like it's not as like bad, I guess, in my opinion, that I'm going out and I'm doing the shit, because like I know at the end of the day like I'm still listening to my mom's rules of like not going home obliterated.
That's cool that your siblings like cover for you and shit, bro. There was this one time I was dating.
I cover for them too though, so they can't say shit.
I was dating this one shawty one time, and she had an older sister. That was the biggest fucking odd, bro. Anyway, it was so hypocritical because like not only at her age, like the girl that I was dating, like she's younger, so at her age, the older sister would do the same damn thing, if not worse. Like, which by worse, I mean, I'm just talking about like just drinking, you know, like underage or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, not only did she do that, but at her current age, she was out here wilding and shit, even though she still had a kid and all that. Like, she was wilding. But the fact that, like, you know, that girl I was dating, like, was doing that, she's like, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do that shit.
Learn from my mistakes, goes and does some more.
That's what I'm saying. And still doing it. So I'm like, yo, that makes, like, absolutely zero sense. So the fact that your siblings cover for you and all that, like,
but I cover for them, too, because, like, my brother will be, like, out and shit with, like, his friends. And he'll text me and he'll be like, hey, like, are my parents home? Like, are they home? And I'm like, yeah, they are. He was like, all right, can you set the dogs off? Because we have so many dogs, bro. Like, you just got to make one noise and they'll all start barking kind of shit. And, like, he'll be like, can you set the dogs off so, like, I can, like, cover the sound of, like, the door opening and closing. I'll be like, all right, I got you. And, like, sometimes when, like, I know I'm not going to make it home, I'll text them and I'll be like, hey, like, let my mom know in the morning. Like, I'll be there by, like, 10, 11 the latest. I was like, and like, I'll call my mom when I'm headed home, like, hey, like, do you need something? Do you need me to stop by for some food, some groceries or some shit, to kind of like bribe my way back into the household. Like, I gotta like make her like cool with me, like being home late one way or another. But like, I've also had those instances where like I'm completely obliterated, but I will still pull it together to text my mom in Spanish, punctuation marks and everything, and be like, hey,
and the accents.
I'd be like, hey, Mr. Kendo, en la casa de so and so, like I'll be home tomorrow morning, kind of thing. And my mom would look at me the next morning and she'd be like, ¿Estás bien? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
Dude, it's a true art form, being able to keep composure when you're absolutely fucked up, son. I think I'm a fucking level expert, prestige master at doing that. Because a lot of times people are like, dude, are you even like fucked up? I'm like, yo, I'm 9.7 out of 10 right now, and like I'm talking normal. I'm not doing anything dumb. I'm not slurring my words. Like, are you sure? I'm like,
she's actually seen it. Like, we'll go out. Like the first time we went to Perreo 404 with my friend Carla, we were out till like fucking 3-4 in the morning. Yeah. Till like Perreo closed, like lights on, kicking us out and everything. And this was when me and Carla both still worked at the bank, so we had to be at work by 8. Bank doesn't open till 9, but we had to be at work by 8. So like we left Perreo for like 3 or 4. Obviously we get home like 5:30. You get like an hour and a half, 2 hours and a half of sleep max, bro. And then we'd be up the next morning and we'd be outside of work and we'd just kind of look at each other and be like, damn, we're fucking here. And our manager would like look at us because we're like having like 2-3 cups of coffee and water bottles like back to back, and he'll like look at us and he'd be like, salieron, ¿verdad? And I'm just like, damn, yeah.
Your eyes are like this. You're like, well, how did you know?
Eyes are sunken in. We still got a little bit of mascara on our bottom lashes and everything. And be like, y'all went out, huh? And I'm just like, yeah.
You still smell like alcohol. The sweat's still prevalent.
I was like, as a banker, I still got what I needed to do done for the day.
Good,
and
bro.
even more half the time when I was like a little like fucked up still.
I used to be able to do that like a couple of years ago, like maybe last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, my prime of like, you know, staying up late and all that. I can't do that no more, bro. That's why I cut down on the like, you know, going out Thursdays to poker and shit. Because, dude, like the next day, like I'd get home from poker like around 3 a.m. I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. So those 2 hours of sleep, like boom, and I wake up and I'm still kind of fucked up.
Waking up at 4:30 a.m. to be at the gym by 5 right now, bro. I'd be like, dying by like 9:30.
Going to work fucked up still, it sucks, dude. I'd be having to get under a car or something. I went like that up, and then the world kept turning. I'm like, my coworker is looking at me. I'm like, wait, I'm here. It's okay.
I clocked in.
I've been in a work crossfaded as hell. Highest sales ever, bruh. Highest sales I've ever made at the bank. Like even my manager was like, whatever this move was
I thought she meant like highest sales. Like I was high as hell.
I was still high. Actually, my manager was like, whatever you did today, keep doing it. I was like, no, chill. I'm not gonna keep doing that.
I think we talked about that. Remember, like old heads, like, damn, y'all really used to go on lunch, get fucked up, and come back
and work.
Yeah. We need to bring that back.
Not true.
Let's switch up the topic. Actually, we didn't even bring this up earlier, but you have a condition that we didn't even touch on. I don't know if y'all what y'all want to talk about. I think it's really cool though. Like
it's cool sometimes. It's got like
talk about what is it.
So my vitiligo is just kind of like my autoimmune system attacked itself kind of thing out of like anxiety, depression, and like just stress. Shitty self-care, bro, and stress. It actually didn't start on me till like 8th grade.
Yeah, because it's like we were talking about off the podcast. I was like, when the fuck did I meet you, bro? Like, yeah, you were always just there. I don't remember like at a certain point, like, oh, hi, how you doing?
I was just always kind of in the background.
Yeah, and I never noticed them on you, so I was like, oh, when I like kind of like met you again, I was like, oh, she has them. Like, I was cool. Like,
a lot of people don't even realize they're there now. Like, if I've known you for like years on end, they're just like, oh, like that's just Jenny. Like, that's just how she is, kind of thing. But like, whenever I meet new people, it's always like this weird like awkwardness where like they want to ask but they also don't know how to ask.
Right. They stare at her a little bit too hard, but they don't want to stare.
You should see them like
that's actually like the main reason like I genuinely started continuously dyeing my hair, because I was like, okay, well, like if my hair's like crazy colors, like that's usually the first like conversation starter, and not like, oh, like what's up with your skin kind of thing. No, like now it'll be like, oh, like I love your hair color, like how do you do it kind of thing. And it just kind of became like this weird like shield for me, to the point where I'm like I really only feel comfortable if there's some sort of like unnatural color in my hair.
For audio listeners, it's blue. It's a bright blue.
And it's a permanent thing, right? I'm assuming.
My skin, yeah. Like I can't get. Well, there is ways to get rid of it, and like I have been offered it, but like my mom actually taught me how to do like my makeup shortly after middle school, because I was actually being bullied for my vitiligo.
Right.
So like I was getting a lot of shit. People would be like, oh, like you look like a fucking cow, like why don't you like get rid of that shit? And like people would be like, oh, like you could go to Colombia and pay so and so to like get that shit removed, like you would be so much prettier if you didn't have it. And obviously that wasn't like the best thing for like my self-esteem when I already had like 100%. Some slight like body dysmorphia and shit. And it kind of grew on me. Like my mom kind of like picked up on it. So she taught me like how to like start doing my makeup, and she was like, here, so like you can like learn to cover it up and stuff like that. But once I did like fully cover it up, like full like at the time, like I only really had it like on like my nose and like around like one eye and stuff. I didn't like how I looked without it. I was like, this shit doesn't look like.
Oh my god, yeah. I think one time senior year, I was at her our mutual friend's place, and she was there too, and she was like, oh, like, we're going to do makeup and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just sit and chill and, like, you know, be there with you guys. Because I don't know how to do shit. And she did the whole, like, you know, like, her skin from, like, you know, her regular complexion and, like, put it over her spots. And this is now when she had it over both eyes and her nose. And I was waiting, and she covered it all up. And I look at her again, and I'm just like, that's weird. that's weird. Take it off.
It doesn't look like me. And I don't like that. And even like last week, I went with my mom somewhere, and one of the guys was like he had it too, and he was like, oh, like let me like offer you like this medication that'll get rid of it. And I'm just like, like after so many years, like it's there, dude.
It's
like me. I don't want to get rid of it. I was like, I actually like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I guess you could speak for like all the people that have, conditions that they can't change. Like, how did you learn to pull through and like learn to love it, like love yourself? Like, this is me now. That's why I asked, is it permanent? Like, this is going to be me forever. So it's either I'm going to be fucking miserable forever and be self-conscious and hate myself, or I can learn to love it because it's me now, So what are the steps you took to like, okay, let me.
Weirdly enough, it became like a party trick. I glow under black light.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
How did you not bring this up earlier? We would have brought a black light here.
Yeah. She has it on her fingertips too, all of her fingers. And she has it on her face, on her knees.
I got it like all over, dude. Like it's there, but like I glow under black light. Like it's like bioluminescent.
Dude,
yeah.
We're gonna for the TikTok clip. We're gonna go to no, I was gonna say we go to Sugarloaf Mills.
Sugarloaf Mills.
We go to that lunar golf and let's put a fucking video.
Actually, I mentioned that to my brother and he didn't believe me. And we went out there like to play mini golf once, and like he turns around at one point. He was like, "Oh shit, you are glowing." I was
that
like,
is
"Yeah,
so
like
cool,
I wasn't
bro. What the fuck?"
That's like one of the tests that they do to see if it's like, oh, like maybe it's vitiligo, or like sometimes people get sweat spots, like your skin lightens a little bit. And like she turned off all the lights, like the dermatologist, and I was like, "The fuck's gonna happen in here right now?" And she pulls out a black light, and she was like, "Yeah, see, you glow." So it's like vitiligo. I was like, "All right, cool. That's a nice like trick to know." But it honestly did take me like a long time, and even still sometimes like I still struggle with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Especially in the summer, dude. Like I sunburn so easy on like certain spots. And like when I get like injured and stuff, like if it heals, sometimes it like turns into my vitiligo spots. So that's why I've kind of struggled with like my tattoos and stuff, because it's always like a worry, like if I don't take well enough care of it, my vitiligo is gonna eat off a lot of the ink.
Do more come now, or is it like you're done? Like
it's like a hit or miss. Like sometimes it'll grow, sometimes it kind of stops. So like the ones on my hands has been like maybe like 2 years. But I've also just kind of learned to like laugh it off. Like I can't change my skin. And like I've been given, like even when I worked at the bank, like I've been given like the like cure for it from like customers. Right. They'll be like, "Oh my god, like here, like it's worked for like so and so in my family, it'll work for you." And I honestly just throw that shit away, because I'm like, like I am who I am. I don't want to change it. And like, yeah, it may be a pain in the ass sometimes to deal with like the stares and like people pulling their kids away from me, thinking like it's something like contagious or something. Yeah. Or like the really awkward question from like guys of like, "Do you have it in like so and so areas?" Because I got to the point where like, yeah, bro, it got to the point where at one point I was like, "Fuck it, I'm about to start an OnlyFans, and y'all could pay to see where else on my body I have these videos." So
they're gonna be like, "Bust out the fucking black light."
I was like, obviously I'm not gonna do anything like overly inappropriate. Y'all are just gonna get like the pictures of the ones on like my inner thighs and stuff like that, because like it goes like some like partially like on my knees and like my inner thighs and like my fingertips and stuff. But like it gets really annoying, because like sometimes I feel more like a circus animal to certain people than I do an actual human. And
I feel like as a kid growing up with it, you definitely feel like that. I feel really like bad for a lot of the kids that have to grow up with shit that's like physical and outward. Like because kids are brutal and like, dude, those like gross motherfuckers.
I've had a little kid from church, and honestly, I'm really fucked up for this, and I know I'm fucked up for this. But he was just staring at me, and we were at like this church outing thing at like a park and stuff. He comes up to me and he was like, "Why do you have those spots on your face?" And I was like, "I killed a white man, and his blood left a stain on my skin." That kid ran away from me screaming.
Damn, son.
He was irritating me. The kid couldn't have been more than like 5 years old, but he had been irritating me the entire fucking day with that question. And I was like, "You know what? I'm tired of your shit. Let me scar you for life." That's like the only thing that really like helped me too, though. Like whenever I like was getting like shit for it and being like, "Oh, like you look like a cow," I'd be like, "Damn, well at least I'm not shaped like one." Damn. I was like I don't give a fuck.
How to learn the clapbacks like real quick and shit.
Like I was already just like a really quiet, reserved person, but I do have anger issues, and I will snap back at you because majority of my family is males. You did have to learn how to defend yourself and defend yourself quickly.
Oh, for sure, bro.
So obviously, like my mom was like, at least like no es dejada, like she's not a complete pushover kind of thing. So even when like, because like I got most of the shit for my vitiligos from church girls. So my mom was like,
girls
be
ruthless, especially church girls.
So whenever they would start on their shit, like I would start right back. I'd be like,
damn.
damn.
Well, I could beat your ass. What's up, man?
I'd be like,
running
damn.
outside.
That's.
I'd be like, damn. Like at least like I don't got as many issues as some of y'all do. I don't give a fuck, bro. Like I genuinely do not give a fuck. Some of those girls have been like locked into asylums. So
I mean,
I'm not that far behind, but I haven't been there yet.
No, please.
I'll take it to the spot day. She'll be fine. I mean, overall, I mean, switching to, I mean, another topic, you know, like, we kept going on about how, like, you know people, but, you know, people, like, know you to an extent and stuff like that. So, in terms of friends, like, you know, you have a good bit, you have the good ones, but when it comes to, like, guys and stuff like that, obviously, like, that can get weird.
Yeah, and that kind of has to do with one of the topics that we talked about last week with me and you, you know, like, being friends with guys is very interesting. Because the fucking line between, like, cool and, like, weird is, like, it's
very
there,
different
you know
with
what
her,
I'm
because, like, obviously, well, to me, she's way prettier. She's way feminine. She's way more feminine. She told me about, like, when she grew up, she prospered, as in her church prospered a lot earlier than other girls.
Yeah.
So,
I was wearing a B cup at fucking 5th grade. Bro.
Yeah.
This shit's outrageous.
That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, like, either being your friend or they're just being weird or they're just trying to get close to you to like how has that like affected a lot of your friendships?
It's been ass, dude. Like I haven't been able to have like a genuine guy friend that hasn't asked me to be like, hey, like, will you steal my virginity? Or like,
that's
hey,
fucking
do you want to be like
me,
friends
bro.
with benefits? And like even now, like some of like the friends like that we've made, they'll be like, hey, like, do you guys or would you guys be interested in like a third?
Yeah, damn.
And then since like a lot of them like find out like I'm bi and stuff, they'll be like, hey, like, do you ever miss like dick and shit? And I'm just like, dude, like, no, y'all are disappointing. Y'all are disappointing, bro.
Motherfuckers are weird. Y'all are disappointing.
Y'all are disappointing, bro.
It'd be a little weird because obviously we've talked about this in private. And, you know, like, she doesn't go too much to an extent of, like, what they've said to her and stuff like that. She just lets me know, like, who said something.
She'd probably kick somebody in the throat, bro, if I were to tell her full details.
The general gist of, like, the conversations. And it didn't keep dawning on me until me, like, all you motherfuckers that keep smiling in my face. Keep trying to talk to her. Like, fuckers. Like, what's wrong with y'all?
It's so weird, bro. And I dealt with that in high school. One of my exes, like, motherfuckers be cool with you. They be like friendly and stuff like that. Oh, what's up? Hey guys and shit. And then in private, you know, whenever they get the chance, hey, like they'll slide in like a sly little like.
I had that like, happen, bro. When I broke up with my ex in high school, like half of his friend group was like hitting me up. Yeah. They're like, hey.
It's always the breaking up when motherfuckers like, come out of the woodwork and they think it's like okay. Half of them
were like trying to sleep with me, like, oh, like if you sleep with me, you'll feel so much better. Like you'll get your revenge on him and shit. And like he got like my ex got mad at me. He's like why the fuck are my friends hitting you up? And I'm like, I don't know. Like ask them. Like what the fuck do I have to do with it? Like I'm not responding. Illness. I was like they're there, bro. I was like I don't want them. Like I'm genuinely just trying to chill and like move past this shit.
And there's some guys that have that like it's like a chronic issue to them. Like they do that to a lot of fucking like females and shit. Like they just
can't
shoot
get
a lot
their
of shots and shit. Like yeah, bro, it's just like
or like
cringe.
They're like your friend and they're like trying to get in that cozy like I hate like nice guy kind of thing. Yeah. Like I understand there is nice guys out there, but just trying to be like, you know, generous and all that. And then when you hit them with like, oh, I have a significant other, they immediately stop talking to you. They immediately disappear.
Recently,
that's when you know that their motives were like different. They don't want to be your friend. They want to do some other shit. But that's always
just really weird to me because I'm just like that doesn't mean you're nice. You're just trying to do another tactic to like get what you want.
And it just sucks because I've always been more of like a tomboy. Like yeah, I do dress kind of like girly and stuff, but I've always been more of a tomboy. Like so many guys in my family, obviously, like I learned about cars, I learned about bikes, I learned how to do shit for myself, and like I even know a little bit of like houses and shit, like doing side work, doing roofing and things like that. And I'm like, you know, like sometimes I can't like talk about that shit with girlies. Like, obviously with my girlies, like, it's makeup,
what
it's
textile
clothing
y'all
and shit like that. So, like, I'm like, like, sometimes, like, damn, it'd be nice to, like, go with, like, guy friends to, like, car meets and stuff. But, like, it always feels like I have to keep most of the guy friends I make at an arm's length. Like, I can't let motherfuckers get too close because then it gets weird.
It's just, honestly, I think it's just the person. Like, if it comes down to, like, them throwing in like shady kind of like energy and shit like that, they're just weird, and it's at that point it just cut them off. I mean, like, even with Naomi and shit, she was hanging out with like a friend group that I knew they were not for her, bro. I knew, and like, I'd kind of like try to mention it to her without trying to be too
overbearing.
Yeah, like try to be that guy like telling you what to do and shit, because like, who am I, right? Other than her best friend. But
other than the most important man so far.
But I tell her like, yo, I do not think you should hang out with them. And she's like, nah, but like, I get to know them, they're cool and shit. I'm like, yeah, but I can see their motives and shit. Like, they were all, at one point they were all like trying to talk to her and shit like that, like trying to get with her. I'm like, bro, like that shit is weird. They're your friends. They shouldn't try to do that shit. Like, none of us do that to each other. Like, we're all like, hey, what's up? You want to fucking drink, bro? You want to go get lit?
I think that was the most refreshing thing about like us joining y'all's friend group and stuff, like slowly going in, is like nobody was weird about me and Des dating. Like, nobody was just like, ah, shit, like girl on girl kind of.
Oh, what's up, bro? Yeah, cool. Y'all want to drink?
I mean, it also sucks that it's like it has to be such a rarity to find like a decent like guy, even if it's Johnny or Austin, who didn't make side comments and being like, oh, y'all looking for anybody and stuff like that. It's none of that weird stuff, you know what I mean?
And unfortunately, like it's because it's rare, bro. A lot of guys are like that, it's like I guess they haven't had anybody tell them like, hey, you shouldn't be acting this way, you shouldn't be asking weird fucking questions. Stop being weird. Like, nobody's ever checked them and shit like that. Like, they grew up with that shit just sliding under the rug and just being like, oh, it's like whatever thing.
Or she had, it was a conversation where this one guy couldn't wrap around his head, where he was like, you dated a guy before? And he's like, why? And she's like, well, I liked him at the moment. He's like, yeah, but then why are you with the girl now? It was like, oh, I liked them at the time. You know what I mean? It couldn't wrap around his head that someone could like both different genders people
and stuff,
or just different people in general. They just look at it as just sex. Like, when they look at us, they're just like, that's just sex, and it's not, which is very weird. Because I mean, some of our friends who are girls, it doesn't just, guys are a big majority, girls are like a small percentage. Where we've had like some friends that are girls, whether they're joking or sometimes they mean it a little bit too much.
Right.
Where they're just like, hey, we've never been with a girl. Y'all looking, because one of us obviously looks more like a boy. One of us looks way girlier. Yeah. It's like best of both worlds type shit, Hannah Montana.
Right, no way.
And they get a little too curious, or they'll get then a bit too comfy, and it'll just, it does, they don't realize it makes us uncomfortable.
I've actually had to set those boundaries where like some of our friends have been like overly like touchy and friendly with her, and like obviously she doesn't like that like from like anybody. Like, she's just like kind of met, and like half of my friends, like I know they can be really touchy and stuff.
Right.
But that's because like I've known them for years. Like, we've built that trust, and it's been to the point where I'd be like, hey, like, you pushed it too far. Like, I'm gonna need you to set some boundaries, and like these are our boundaries. And like, even with like the thing that you said that somebody brought up about like somebody dancing with your partner at the club kind of thing.
I was just about to bring that up too.
We've actually had like an argument about that, because it'll be like, like, you don't know this person, they don't know us, they don't know me.
Right.
And like, I don't mind if like she dances with other people, but like for me, it's like I really only trust people in our friend group, because for one, like, they have like respect for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, and then they have respect for our relationship. Whereas if it's like somebody like we don't fucking know, like, I don't expect them to like respect us or respect me. Like, I don't care if like you dance with them and stuff, but like obviously if they want more, they're gonna jump the gun and go for it.
100%. Most of the time they will.
I mean, it's been a bit confusing navigating it, because at that night it didn't help that we had like, our friend had a man who, now that we think about it, he was insecure. And so they had went to the bathroom. They come back. I was talking to a girl. I was talking to her as friends, because we were partying in front of each other. And, you know, I give my phone, she gives me her phone, I give it Instagram, and he keeps nudging her and be like, are you okay with that? You're going to let that happen? Are you going to let that slide?
And, like, she has a
Is that night at Ibiza?
No, it was a night at Moondogs.
It was at Moondogs, actually. And, like,
is it the guy that I think you're talking about?
We'll mention names off the pod.
Yeah, we'll mention names later.
Oh, you can say it and just cover your mouth and I'll bleep it out.
Not you.
It was a motherfucker named.
Oh, okay.
From middle school.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
No, he was weird. He was weird. Yeah,
because he did that shit to me too. Because one time, what's it called? I think it was either Carol or somebody. I don't know. Somebody was like talking to a dude, like just. So I guess the guy waiting up to her and said something, and he like came to me. He was like, "Hey, bro, look, dude, like she's talking to another guy. Like, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Guy, like we're all right here. Her man is right there. Like we're all chilling. There's nothing weird going on. Like, chill the fuck out, bro."
I mean, that same dude, like, danced with one of our friends who's a girl. His girl danced with her, and he was mad at us. Like, we instigated, be like, gay.
Worst thing is, like, he was so mad at her, but his girl was more like into like wanting to kiss me whenever y'all made that joke.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, bro, you really worried about the wrong person.
But no, I mean, go back to the other guy. My motherfucker just caused problems. Yeah. He just kept nudging her, like making her like feel insecure and small. And, you know, I exchanged things, not thinking much of it. She's like, you know, she's very, when she gets upset, she's not like, fuck you. You know, what the fuck
I'll keep that shit to myself. I don't want to argue in public.
Yeah, 100%. You should never do that.
If we do have a discussion, don't ever fucking raise your voice at me. I'll walk out until you're ready to actually fucking talk like a mature person.
See, that thing is that's one important rule. Everybody listen up. If you're in a relationship and you start to get like a little beefy and shit, like out in public, it happens. It's okay. It's natural. The thing is, don't set a fucking like a
fire in the fucking
in the middle of everything, dude. Don't make a scene basically in front of everybody, because the thing is, right, you guys are gonna fix that at some point.
Nobody else got shit to do with our business,
but everybody else is never gonna forget that. They're never gonna forget that fucking time where you raised your voice at your fucking girl and started making a scene. They'll never forget when she was crying in front of everybody like that.
Oh my god.
We had to happen.
Thing is, I'll cry, but I'll cry after I swing, bro. I'll cry after I swing. You raise your voice at me, I'll raise it back. You try and lift your hand at me, you're gonna get hit, and then I'll cry
it's
after.
Never contrary to belief what she just said, it's never gotten physical.
Ever.
We really, I think we've learned from, you know, she's learned from her past relationships. I've learned what I've seen from other relationships, because this is my first. And I'm just like, if it's not a good time, like both of us are just really fucking mad and stuff like that.
Because she tried it.
We'll
actually
circle
that
back.
night.
Because
you tried raising your voice at me.
I tried.
I left.
I genuinely speak loud. Like, we can see the mic.
That's what I say.
You see my mic peaking right now.
There's a difference between speaking loud though and wanting to raise your voice. There's a different change in your fucking voice.
No, I think it's all in the neck. This is raising my voice.
My neck gave pause.
And for her, like, she started waving like her hands around.
That's me.
I saw like she like you squared up though, like you're just like you bricked up a little bit. You bricked up a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Like, we're in your parents' household. It's 3 a.m. I was like, you know what? Like, call me tomorrow when you're fucking calm and out of work, and we'll talk about it. But I'm leaving. I was like, my friend's outside waiting for me to take her home anyway, so I'm out.
But the dude just like, we had to have that talk where she was just like, why are we talking to that girl? This and this and that. And at the end of the day, we had to come to that realization. I was like, I'm a girl too. I'm not a dude.
Yeah.
I want to make other friends that are girls and stuff like that. So it wasn't...
It's a blurry ass fucking line.
No, that's true. I can see that now, actually.
To me, it's not that blurry, because I enjoy having friends. My first mind is like, we're friends. We're cool. Like, you know, like stuff with Haley, stuff with like Carol, everybody else. I'm like, this is friends. I'm not looking at you guys any differently. It's always like, I'm very excited.
But you don't pick up when other people see it differently.
Oh, that's a different thing.
It's interesting because I had that same problem. Ever since I was like younger, I've always had more friends that are girls. I've always been naturally attracted to having like friends that are girls because like they're more fun. I've always said like they're more fun, they're more lit, they're more nice, they smile more. Like it's just I don't know. Like their vibes are fucking. Their vibes are just awesome.
So the drama starts.
Yeah.
El chisme por donde quiera.
But all the time, like I date these shawties that like don't fuck with that. They're like, yo, are you trying to flirt with them, or like, why do you have so many girlfriends? Or I'm like, bro,
I think
we're
that circle
fucking
back
friends,
to like
guy.
the whole like, you don't see a lot of guys having friends that are girls.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And
that's what. Yeah, that is true because it's rare to have like you know.
Yeah, you know.
Some of y'all be weird, bro.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we've already like circled back on that, but it's like when like we dance with friends, I always dance face to face. I obviously have of girls tried to shake ass on me. Guys have tried to grab her hips and start fucking humping her.
Yo, that's so weird.
One time we did get sandwiched. It did not help. It did not help.
Yeah, bro, we were just like, what the fuck did we do in this situation? We're like, how the fuck do we get out without insulting anybody?
Yeah, so it's also like me being also conscious, like, like she's shaking ass on me. Do I know her? Was it that chart? Do I know her? No. Get away. Yeah. Yes. It should be fine.
Yeah. Dude, actually, one of the first time at that night at Ibiza, you saw what happened. I was dancing by myself, doing my thing, guns in the air. Shotty comes up while my gun's in the air, my fake gun in my hand. I was over here like this. Shotty pulls up, grabs my fucking hand, and turns around, starts trying to shake ass on me.
Yeah,
and
then that's when that shit. I looked over to you guys, and I was like, am I supposed to intervene right now?
Did this just happen? What the fuck? And I was like, I kind of like guided her away. I was like, yeah, do your thing, girl. And I pushed her towards like, y'all. I was like, yo, take care of her, please.
Oh,
like,
what
the
that
fuck
same
is this?
night, somebody was like constantly throwing ass on Des, and like you nudged me as if to be like, yo, like, are you cool with that kind of thing? And at first I was like, like, it is what it is. Like, she came with the group. Like, I can't really like start shit right now. But it was kind of like getting to me where I was like I want to dance with her for at least one song. Like, this girl's had her the entire fucking night. It's getting close to the end of the night. Like, I just want to dance with like my girlfriend for one night for like one fucking song.
Yeah.
And she just wasn't allowing it. Like,
that
anytime I tried to get close to Des, like she would like shove me out of the way. And like
wild.
My anger issues were like popping out. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to
and it was hard for me to be like, to make it then awkward within the group. Being like, unhand me, woman. Unhand me, woman. I am betrothed to another.
And I guess we could go ahead and like talk about that topic in general, like real quick. Like, this was actually a requested topic by somebody that messages in. So if y'all ever have requested topics, make sure to just DM the @NA5 podcast on Instagram. Just send in your topic, whatever you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it on the next podcast.
But she posted more polls and shit.
Yeah, no cap. She texted me. She was like, "Can you talk about yeah, like basically what we just been talking about is your partner dancing with other people, like, and how does that work? Like, is it cool? Is it not?" I've always said like it's cool. The line gets blurry and weird when it becomes like reggaeton, obviously, because how do you dance reggaeton with somebody is one of two ways: face to face, like cool, like hey. Or
grinding,
fucking ass shaking on the dick, or
dry humping with
vagina.
clothes on.
That's what I'm saying. And I guess for this specific instance, I guess what I'm about to explain, that does not include reggaeton. I'm including all the other fucking dancing in the world and shit, just normal dancing, some bachata, some merengue and all that. I think it's completely good. I think it's cool. I think like whatever, because you're just dancing. You're not doing anything weird, especially if it's in front of you. Cool. If you're not there, okay, I guess maybe you can have that talk, because you don't really know what they're doing.
Setting those boundaries.
But in the same fucking sentence, like, you set boundaries. And also, if you don't trust your partner, then why the fuck are you with them? If you set those boundaries and you tell them, hey, you can dance, do all this and this and this, but you can't, no ass shaking in front of you or on you, all right? You know what I'm saying? And if you don't trust them enough not to pull through with that, then why the fuck are you with them, bro? You're with somebody that you don't trust,
Yeah. And that's the thing, because at one point, like, it was really double standard with her. Like, she would be okay with, like, her dancing with, like, other girls and stuff, or, like, dancing with, like, some of the guy friends. And I'm like, okay, but, like, why can't I dance with, like, the guy friends? Because if, like, I were to do the same shit she was doing, she would get upset.
Right.
And that's what, like, was, like, such a big issue that night at Moondogs. Because I'm like, like, that same night, like, I was talking to, like, a dude, like, I met at the bar. Like, we were genuinely just having, like, a regular conversation. And she got upset with me, and she dragged me away from the conversation. But then when she was like, but then when she was like, when I come back to the bathroom and the girl's like trying to shake ass on her, and then like 5 minutes later, like they're exchanging instas and shit, like I wasn't allowed to be upset.
I guess maybe like sometimes you don't. you yourself, right, as a person, you don't think like, oh, this is like that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess sometimes you're in that situation and shit like that. So I guess that's why sometimes a lot of couples find it like hard to be okay with the fact that somebody's dancing with like somebody else and shit. But like with like, I always like the other day at the wedding actually, I was like, I asked Johnny because like Carol wanted to dance, but Johnny don't dance. So I was like, yo, Johnny, is it like cool like if I dance with her? He's like, yeah, go ahead, bro. Like, cool, and shit like that. I was like, oh, Carol, let's dance and shit. Cause, like,
and that goes back to my point. Like, it's people that you trust because they respect you and they respect your relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas strangers that you meet that are completely fucking obliterated, ready to wreck their lives for you, bruh, that you can't like be like, damn, like, should I really trust this person? Not even like just like your partner, but like trusting the other person.
Yeah, I mean that's what I said. Like shaking ass and all that shit is different. It's in this whole other league. And
I
shit
mean,
like
it's also. I'm not gonna be like, I can't help it. I'm like, oh, it's just a magnet. It is. I try to deflect it as much as possible. I generally do look for the girls with the gun in the air, or like, you know, the little hip hop, like, let's go. And it's like, it gets very concerning, you know, like when they start grabbing me. I think there was one time some girl was just kept throwing herself on me, and I looked at her and I was like, help me.
The thing is also, I feel like some of those girls, they think that that's like kind of okay because they do that with their other girlfriends and shit like that. So I guess like in their defense, they probably don't know like between you guys, it might be like a little like weird, you know what I'm saying? Like in their eyes, they're like, oh, it's cool because like I'm gonna go do this with somebody else like after you know what I'm saying? So
it's why every once in a while we gotta throw in a little gay ass kiss in there and just be like,
but then there's girls just
girlies being girlies.
yeah.
Then there's a girl like, I'm gay too. I want to kiss.
Yo, that one couple that's always trying to get us to join their relationship.
Oh my god,
continuously.
Yeah, they were really. One of them was attacking me, and one of them was attacking her. And they're like, "Are y'all open?" And we're like, no, I'm actually very reserved and closed
one of the first things that I did not want to come off weird though was like when I'd always ask y'all to kiss like some girl or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Cause like, you know, you don't want to be like, oh, kiss, like girl on girl kissing. No, the guys here kiss too, so it's okay. You know, like, it's not just the
girls
shotties,
be going
bro.
wild when you and Austin give that little smooch.
I was like,
Johnny and Austin just like,
it'd be weird if we only made the girls kiss. No, it's the dudes too.
But I mean,
everybody gets passed around just a little bit, bro.
But that's how you know we're cool, bro. That's how you know we're knitted, we're friends.
I mean, I still don't understand that one guy who was insecure about his girl dancing with other girls.
That guy
made no sense.
That sometimes you can't make sense out of people that are just insecure. Insecure people make no sense. They have no logic. They have no reasoning. They're all full of hypocrisy.
They are the way that they are.
You can't really change that shit.
When you know
the laws of physics don't apply.
Up there, you just gotta compensate and keep bringing them down.
I was literally just talking to Austin about this. Actually, I was saying like a lot of times people insecurity stems from like you yourself, from you seeing and knowing in the back of your mind that your shawty can easily find a motherfucker better than you, whether that be looks, money, personality, everything. Yeah. That's where the insecurity stems from. So that guy noticed that, you know what I'm saying, the guy we're talking about, noticed that all the people that he was most insecure about, it was people that he thought could take his shawty. Hence why we're blocked right now.
Hell yeah.
Y'all are blocked.
Yeah, it's really weird that only me and Destiny are blocked. Really weird.
I'm still in though. Even though his girl should be more, even though like he should be more concerned about his girl with me.
Austin's not blocked either, and neither is Johnny. Only me and you for some fucking weird reason.
Which just doesn't make sense.
Because we're all friends in the first place. We're all friends.
They made more passes at her than they did at me. Made no sense. Made no sense. The one who's having game. Not to be like I should be a block, but I'm just like, there was just like this disdain for me, and I genuinely did try to be friends.
Yeah, 100%.
I genuinely did try, you know, like talk to them, strike up a conversation. They didn't like keep eye contact with me, nothing, and I'm just like, damn, what the fuck did I do? It's like some guys make it a little weird, like I had that one guy before too be like, I don't want you around my girl. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? They're like, you might make her gay. I'm like, you can't make someone gay if she's already questioning herself hard. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's just, but a sneeze. No.
You can't make them gay. You just unlock it.
Yeah,
it was hidden.
Achievement.
It was already hidden in there, bro.
Yeah,
you just set it free.
That saying is so stupid because like it's just they're just not comfortable around you to talk about it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hence why they smooching a girl every fucking weekend. You know?
Yeah. And it was never us, bro.
Yeah, I know.
The problem was against us, but it was never us. It was not just a smooch,
bro. It was a fucking makeout.
I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Hey, it's all good, bro. We talking about people from the past, bro. They ain't here no more.
What is it? Fuck them.
Fuck them. I was just going to say, fuck them. All right. I guess we'll end it there. This has been a great podcast. Hey, Jenny, you did really well, bro.
Let's go.
Shout out to Jenny, man. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, 5-star on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we're out.
Bye. Boom.